Hello everybody, I'm Ham and you watch, welcome to Ham and Watch, and today a new video of 5 short video game reviews. Some good games, some less good games. Let's jump into it. First game in the list will be We Were Here Forever. So We Were Here Forever is actually a series of games and it's called We Were Here Forever because it's supposedly the 4th one of the list, even if there's a spin-off, so there's basically 5 games. This is going to be a bit hard for me to review this game for the quality of this game only because I've played the whole series and with the same friend. This is a cooperative type of game, so you need to pick up a friend and you play together one-on-one to solve puzzles. If you like escape puzzles, escape rooms and such, this is this type of games. And since I've played through the whole series with the same friend, there's obviously an emotional value attached to it. So while this game has a quality, I'm gonna judge it a bit above that because I've played through everything. And so nowadays, if there's a new We Were Here that's going to come out, I am very excited to play it with that friend. That's why it's take my review with a bit of salt. The series of We Were Here is a bit an indie game, although recently they've been getting more budget with this one, but it's still an indie type of game. So video-wise, the game looks pretty for an indie game, but it doesn't look amazing either. It looks cute and charming, and at the same time it looks a bit clunky, a bit amateurish, but it's very pleasant for what it does. The game is not here to be beautiful because that's not the point. It just needs to be whimsical and a bit immersive. Audio-wise, nothing special here. The music is okay-ish. There's a bit of voiceover that is also a bit okay-ish, sometimes cringy. I don't think you play this game for a great music or for great voiceover. The series of We Were Here is mostly known for its gameplay, okay? You play these puzzle games to enjoy great puzzles, great enigmas, great riddles, and all sorts of crazy contraptions, and you have to solve it and you have to talk with your friend. If you like escape rooms and such, this is where the game shines. So you can either play with an actual friend that you have on Discord or such, or you can talk to in a talkie-walkie with him, or you could even befriend someone that you don't know on Steam because it allows you to find some strangers. There's all sorts of ways to enjoy this game, but it's obviously better if you know your friend beforehand. And while the series has greatly evolved since the first one, it hasn't changed much, right? One-on-one, you evolve through dungeons, through corridors, through weird rooms. You try to read riddles and solve them to find bits of puzzles and put them together. There's always some stuff to gather to understand the symbols. There's often a timer. You might die in the process, so you need to hurry up and that kind of stuff. If that excites you to play with someone, I am saying this, can you read the symbol for me? I don't know what I'm looking for, this type of adventure in a very almost Indiana Jones type of way. You should definitely enjoy this game. And in terms of content, as I said, the series has greatly evolved. If you went back to the first one, you would find it probably extremely simple, simplistic almost. This 4th episode is so rich. There is so much to do to solve. The puzzles are very complex. They went pretty far. If you are non-native English speaker, I don't know how hard it could be. I am a non-native English speaker, and so it was fine. But you have to take that into account, right? There's a lot of words. There's a lot of stuff like that. There's lots of stuff to solve which require you to read, so it's just not puzzle solving, it's also enigma solving. So overall, I'm going to give We Were Here for 86%, an A-. It's a great game. It's a great little game, okay? You're not going to spend weeks and weeks on this game. This game can be finished probably in about, I don't know, between 10 and 20 hours. Especially if you take time solving stuff and you don't look up for solutions. And also you could replay the game in the other way. Your friend plays your part and you play your friend's part. Why would you do that? Because basically it's different. All the puzzles are asymmetrical, and that's very exciting to replay it in the other way around. If you've never played that series and you feel a bit interested, but you don't want to dive into the series, just get this one. I think this is the best of the series so far, there's no question. Which is rare, right? When there's a series that goes on and on, often the quality goes down. I think with the We Were Here series, the quality only goes up. The first one is free. You could get it for free and have a look. The second one was fine, the third one was better, and the fourth one is even better. There's a spin-off which is just a bit of different thing. I'm not going to talk about this one, but we've played them all. I would say that if you have to play one game of the We Were Here series, this is the one. On the contrary, if you've got a friend and you are suddenly super excited by the idea of doing this game, you maybe should go back to the beginning, because there's a bit of a follow-up in terms of story and content, just a bit. And the first one is free, so give it a try. If you like it, go all the way up to the number 4 like this. This is a great series. This is probably one of the best co-op puzzle games I've ever played. Next in this video we have Diablo 4. So yeah, what a disappointment. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but Diablo 4 is one of these little games that I'm gonna put in here as a short review, because what a disappointment. What a disappointment this game is. Listen, I'm not a Diablo fan, okay? I haven't played 1 and 2 like a maniac like some people. I just played the 2 back in the day and I liked it. I've also played the 3, I liked it less. We've decided with my wife to play number 4 because we've played the 3 together. It was fine, a good experience, and we decided to play this one. We bought 2 copies and now we regret spending that money. Look, I don't know if it's a me thing, getting old or what, or if it's the actual lower quality of the game that does that, but this is boring. This is not a very good game. But let's just quickly talk about the game normally. So video-wise, the game is pretty. And that's what you would expect from a game like that. Although I would say it's a bit dark, a bit blurry, but it's still very pretty, okay? If you've played Diablo 2, Diablo 3, it's always nice to have great environments and great architecture and enemies and all that. The game looks good, especially the cutscenes, okay? Blizzard is known for that. The cutscenes are amazing. Audio-wise, same. Musics are cool. They tried doing some stuff reminiscent of Tristram and all that. The music is fine, it's very dark and very ambient, but that's not the point of a Diablo. The reason why you would play a Diablo is for the gameplay. And the gameplay of Diablo 4 is boring. I don't think it's very bad, but there's nothing that wants me to get back to it. A game like that makes you want to get up in the morning and feel like, I want to click, I want to get back to this game, I want to get more. Didn't give me anything of that. I play a hack and slash to be addicted to its gameplay, to explore the tech tree and to get more power and all that. Here I was bored to death. So in terms of gameplay and content, there's tons of items, there's almost too many items. As soon as I get a kill enemy, I've got a choice between 3 or 4 different swords. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pick one, and there's so many stats. Okay, I'm gonna pick this one. 5 seconds later, I kill another enemy and I have 2 more weapons to compare to, and they look very similar and they almost feel AI generated. It all feels so generic and so similar and so boring. It loses completely its essence and its soul. It's sad. The gameplay is just sad. So it really sucks because honestly, the world, that was very cool. The story was actually intriguing. Guess what? If you play the introduction of this game, you will say, Hem is crazy. The introduction is awesome. Crazy cutscene. Awesome art direction and narration, and there's a setting. It looks like a horror movie, like some kind of, I don't know, Resident Evil, whatever. I don't know. It looks awesome, right? And then you play the first dungeon and the second dungeon and you discover the sub-quests and all that. and the dialogues are actually pretty boring. And everything starts to be extremely identical. And then you play a big dungeon with the big villain, and it's just a button that you click and the villain appears as a hologram like in Star Wars, and blah 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 blah. Next room, blah 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 blah. Next room, blah blah. What? It's as if they put all their money into the introduction to grab the player, but then after half an hour of game, there's nothing. There's nothing. It's boring. I'm sorry, this game is boring. It's not for me. Some people love it. Good on them. It's just not for me. So I'm still being nice because I think there's some great stuff in it. I just don't think it's a bad game. I just think it's not interesting. So I'm giving Diablo 4 a 56%. Okay, that's very nice of me because it's, I don't know. It's still, there's still some okay stuff in there. It's a C-. 56% is a C-. It's an average game, take it or leave it. I did not finish it, I can tell you immediately. I couldn't care. I regret spending that much money in 2 copies of this game because this is not good. I look forward to other games like Titan Quest 2 and such. Yeah, if you're interested in and you love Diablo, you're already playing or you already played this one. If you're interested in a hack and slash and you don't know where to start, don't start there. Next in the list, we have Defender's Quest 2. So Defender's Quest 2 is the sequel of a game that I love. I used to love and I still love it. An indie game, a tower defense game. So this one is going to be hard for me to judge once again for another reason this time. I used to love the first one. I think it's a very good indie game. I'm a sucker for tower defense. I like that, except if they're bad, obviously, but I usually like that genre. And Defender's Quest 1 was unique because it started doing stuff that at the time, we're talking about like 10, 15, 20 years ago, wasn't made yet, right? And then the guys who did the first one started working on the second one, and it took them years and years of development hell, continuing the game, cancelling the game, continuing the game, cancelling the game. And then some horrible stuff happened to the people who were responsible of the first one. Horrible life stories. It's very sad. Very sad. I'm not going to talk about that here. What I'm saying is that I know about this stuff, and also I felt for the people, right, in charge of this game. As a human being, as a dad, lots of stuff talked to me, and so I could not skip this sequel. And despite the fact that I knew as soon as the sequel came out that people said it's not good, it's not a great game, and I was like, that's too bad. I'm still gonna get it because hopefully it helps the people who worked on it, and I know what a game in development hell can feel for the people who did it. So almost as some kind of contribution, I bought the game and I did it, and I'm happy I did it. I'll just not carry any memory for it because it's not a great game. So as soon as you look at this, you will know if it's for you or not. It's a very indie game. It's very colorful, but very amateurish. It's everything is illustrated. It's a very indie game. It doesn't have much budget. It looks extremely similar to the first one, though. So if you've played the first one, you will feel like, oh, they didn't change much the recipe. And no, they didn't. They actually reduced the recipe. So yeah, video-wise and audio-wise, it's fine. It's a very indie game. There's not much to it. What you play a tower defense for is mostly its gameplay. Is the tower defense mechanisms and system, is it good in there? It's okay. It's nice. It's nice. There's not much to it. What I'll say though is that the story was actually a bit more interesting than the gameplay, which is sad, right? In the first one, there was great gameplay, very grippy mechanism and all that. The story was very pleasant also. The dialogues were funny and all the relationships between the characters were cool. Here, you mostly have the second part. Story is cool and dialogues are funny and you want to know about the story. Although at the end you're like, oh, there's actually not much to it. And all the way you play through the levels, you're like, this is cool, but this is not very exciting. It's a mix of tower defense and RPG-ish. So you level up your characters, you level up your units, and you do your placement units. If you love tower defense, there's some good stuff in there. I would say though, if you want to play a Defender's Quest, go play the first one. I don't know if they would still get the money, especially the people who had troubles and all that, but still, go play it. It's a very good game still today. Overall, I'm going to give a Defender's Quest 2 a 71%. It's a B-. It's a nice game. It's a nice game. I'm happy I did it. I mean, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't have continued, right? And I think my rating is still a bit generous. Lots of people will probably give it a 5 or 6 out of 10. So I give it a 71%. It was nice. I had fun playing it for some. It made me, you know, rekindle my love for Defender's Quest. There's some good stuff that remind me of the first one in here, but there's a lot of stuff which are just forgettable. So on average, 71%. So nice little game. Feel free to try it or go try the first one. Next in the list, we have Castlevania Lords of Shadow, the first one. I don't know what I was expecting with this game, but just a bit of a prelude. The reason I've played this game is because last year I started doing the whole series of Castlevania, like for 30 years of video games. And eventually I reached that point. And the reason I did this is because I wanted to play that series, the Lords of Shadows series. But I didn't want to start from there. I wanted to start from the beginning to know where the series came from. And that's why I've played like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 different Castlevania until I reached this point. And unfortunately, it's a disappointment. I can't believe I did the whole series and I ended up enjoying the series more than this actual game. And I can tell you immediately, I did not finish this game. Castlevania Lords of Shadow is not a great game. It's not terrible either, but I don't think there's much point for someone like me to play this nowadays. It's the remastered version, so it looks fine. Video-wise, it's okay. I think it didn't age super well, but not bad either, okay? It looks still doable. The music in this game is nothing specific. I have no recollection of any good theme or anything. I actually prefer all the songs that I heard throughout the series more than this one, so there you go. Audio-wise, meh. The problem that I have with this game is the gameplay. I don't know what I was expecting. Probably I'm used to more adventure games or Metroidvania games, like Metroidvania, okay, it comes from there, the Vania. I was expecting something similar to Castlevania, but it's very different. There's a series that I really like which is called Darksiders, and I love the first one. I think it's an amazing take on the Zelda genre. It could have been similar, except it's been made in a corridor. So it's corridor after corridor after corridor, and it's boring. The gameplay is actually not fascinating at all. I think it's dated, very dated. I'm surprised that the game worked that much back in the day. I think it did work well, but nowadays I don't think there's any point playing that unless you've got nostalgia. Unless you played it back in the day and liked it and you want to get back to it. This would make sense. As you can see, it's mostly an action adventure game, and there's a lot of bashing. I wanted to explore some great places. I didn't, because it's mostly corridors. The combats are extremely mashing button. It's not super technical. I think a game like Darksiders was better. The content is meh. There's some stuff that remind me of Castlevania, but at the same time it's very... There's a mishmash of stuff in there. Some fantasy stuff. They put some weird stuff from fairy tales and all. It's just like... Are we still playing Castlevania? You know what I mean? It didn't remind me a lot of Castlevania. There's some weird puzzles in there. There's some it's lots of weird stuff. I can't believe that Kojima worked for that, because it doesn't feel like it. I think I wanted to find the same spark that you had when you had a Castlevania 64 that came out, and people were like, "Wow, that is different. It's like mixing Castlevania and Resident Evil," and it was very interesting. This one didn't feel like it. It was boring. So not everything is to put to the bin, okay? There's some interesting stuff still. I think the story was trying to tell something a bit different, but I don't know, because I didn't continue. I was bored. So there's probably more to it later, but I don't have the time for that. I was bored. I think this is a game that works for nostalgic people. I don't have that. I had more fun playing the actual series. So I think this is a series of game, the Lord of Shadows, that you can either forget if you don't feel interested by that, and unless you are a huge collector and you want to finish everything, then you should do them because they're still totally doable. So overall, I'm giving Castlevania Lords of Shadow a 51%. It's a D+. It's forgettable. I already forgot about it. I don't care. Some people will love it. I think mostly people who played back in the day. It's forgettable for people nowadays. If you want to get back to it, nah, there's no point. I don't think it's very interesting. There's many other games in adventure that give you a better feeling than this, Darksiders being one. So this one, 51%, D+. Last game in this series is NOITA. So just a heads up here, I'm going to review NOITA with a very specific thing to keep in mind. I've played NOITA in co-op with a friend, a fan of NOITA. So that means it requires a mod, okay? This is not in-game. You can't play NOITA with a friend with the base game, not with a DLC or anything. There's nothing official to that. I've tried NOITA a few years ago by myself and I thought it was okay. I had no interest in going further. I thought there was an interesting concept and an interesting mechanism in there, but by myself I didn't feel interesting and didn't have time to push further. This friend introduced me to a mod that allows you to play with a friend. It makes things very different. If you've played games like Spelunky, for instance, the whole pleasure of that game comes from the fact that you're playing with at least another friend, right? I think NOITA shines if you keep that in mind. NOITA is a dungeon explorer type of a game where imagine, I don't know, Terraria, Spelunky and all that, where you go deeper in dungeons and you explore stuff and you get items and you meet enemies and you get better and stronger and you gather stuff, but eventually, boom, you die or you lose everything. Alright, you lose everything. It's not necessarily a roguelike or anything. You lose everything and you need to restart, but your knowledge of the game is better. Exactly like in Spelunky. The more you know about the game, the more you can handle your character and all the different items that you can find, the better you become, right? The better you will progress through the game and the further you'll go and you'll understand what this is all about. Video-wise, the game is all pixelized like that. It actually reminds me of games like Lemmings, if you remember games like that. So it's lovely. It's very colorful. It's lovely. I love pixel games. I love the other games that the guy who did that is the same guy. One of the guys is the guy who did Baba Is You, for instance. Planet Environment, Planet System Station, whatever. Great guy doing very lovely games like that. I think it's very pretty. If you're not into indie games and very pixelized games, you're not gonna like that, but this is what this is about. Audio-wise, once again, with this same type of developer, it's very cool songs, very cool tunes that you can listen to beyond the game, so nice music in here. But mostly NOITA shines for its gameplay, okay? The gameplay is very rich. You gather weapons and you upgrade your weapons, you mix them together and they become stronger and you discover lots of weird association of items. And if you've played games like, I don't know, Magica is like 10-20% of that gameplay. NOITA has a huge gameplay in terms of data and stuff that you can craft. So if you are a big nerd who loves all sorts of very crafty things and mixing stuff and discover what all the devs thought for you to discover, there's lots of fun to have here. Of course, it's also very skill demanding. This game is hard. This game is very hard, and even if you play with a friend, there's lots of chaotic stuff happening on screen, and just a simple misclick and boom, you're dead, and your 5 hours exploration can be over, right? So it's very hardcore, but it's very fun, especially with a friend. Once again, you can discover lots of stuff with your friend, mixing elements and having fun. It can be a great stream game, but it can also be a very good exploration game. If you love exploration, this is what this game is about. So overall, knowing that I've played with the co-op mode, I'm giving NOITA an 85%. It's a B+. It's a good game. Good indie game. I don't have enough time and enough freedom to finish this game. I didn't finish it. And it's pretty demanding in terms of skill. It's very hard. But it's very fun. It's very fun. So if you've got a friend to play with, or even if you love playing by yourself, with this type of game like Spelunky and such, you would have a blast in this game. I don't think it's as known as Spelunky and such, but I think it deserves to be known because there's a lot of stuff in there. And that's it, everyone. These were my 5 reviews for today. It's been a long time I had done a video, but I've got lots of games that I've been playing for the last year, several past months, so I've got more coming up. I hope you enjoyed these reviews. There's some not terrible games in there, but there's also some good games, and I think the point is to review many games and to give you an idea of what has been done in video gaming in these past few years. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.